In terms of this whole idea of balance,
Yeah.
there was the New York Times article that was creating these two divisions, the balance group and then the strong, muscular California
Yes.
wine group. What is your feeling? I mean, is that true? Are there two camps?
Yeah, there's definitely two camps, I think, and I certainly fall into more of the balance camp if I have to take a side. But at the same time, I don't feel like you necessarily have to, and I don't feel like that one is necessarily better than the other. It's all, I think there's room for everybody and there's room to play, and I hate to be like the political answer here by any stretch, but I really believe that. And I think, it's all about what the customer and what people who are drinking wine like to drink. And I think now that we have a lot more variety in the market, it just makes it a more exciting place to be drinking wine. If wines that maybe you weren't into before for a particular reason, now you might be able to taste those same grapes that are a different expression of them. And you might enjoy them now. Or likewise, maybe, there are certain people that really love that like big bombastic style, and I think that those wines shouldn't cease to exist just because there's a movement towards this more kind of balanced style. A lot of people still really enjoy those wines with like brooding power and extraction and whatnot, and I think that they shouldn't be devoid of the opportunity to drink those just because it's not cool anymore.
And now that you've reached this level, I mean, do people kind of come up to you with a glass and say,
Oh, all
Dustin,
the time.
yeah?
All the time, yeah. That's like the thing that everybody wants to see. Everybody loves blind tasting, so it's hard to go somewhere without like someone handing me a glass and saying, so here you go, what do you think this is, and having to roll through the whole thing.
And is it like some kind of like obscure German Riesling from
Yeah,
an area
I think the goal for everybody is always to try to mess the guy up, rather than to see him actually kill it. So I get all kinds of weird things thrown at me. Like the other day, the guys were joking around. They wanted to see me blind taste Vermont grape varieties, which I don't even think I know what's grown in Vermont, to be honest. So.
And like, how often when you do these blind tastings do you nail it?
Relatively often. Again, it kind of depends. When we're studying, we're prepping for the test. It's all about classic grapes from classic regions, right? It's not if a grape or a particular style of wine isn't necessarily very inherent to a particular region, or have a lot of history to it in a particular region, or have an innate style to it that is characteristic of a grape in a place, then it's really not necessarily fair game, as we call it. So. If it's coming from like a really classic place and it's a classic grape, I'm usually pretty good with those. What often happens though is people like to throw in Spanish grape varieties that happen to be grown in New Zealand or something like that. Which is where you run into some issues and you don't always get things right and it gets a little mixed up.
But you don't run into issues when somebody gives you a Cabernet and it's actually a Chardonnay. That hasn't happened.
No, not yet. Not yet. No, I think I'm good there. I don't see that happen anytime soon.
That's lucky, right?
Yeah.